I did promise you, and I do have him in the studio right next to me, Mr. Eavesdrop, a.k.a. Dave Grimus. Just released a new EP, Air on Fire, on the NZ label Empathy. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, Scotty.
How are you going today?
Yeah, not bad, bro.
Is your mic on?
Do you know? Don't think so.
We have a microphone problem.
Hold on.
There you go. You're talking now.
Hello.
Good stuff, good stuff. Hey, bro, well, thank you very much for joining us this morning. I'll check one of your tracks, Underneath. Now, for people who are a little bit in the dark, could you give us a bit of a rundown on where you came from, how you got into DJing and music production, well, alike? Oh, it is.
Better? Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
Hello. Yeah, well, basically I got into drum and bass, especially probably back in the mid-90s, actually. I've kind of been around in the drum and bass kind of scene in New Zealand since the jungle days, since I was very young. So I'm a little bit of an old hand, actually, late in the piece, eh? But yeah, so I got into DJing about sort of 14, 15. Actually, Khan Hall taught me to DJ, believe that?
What? Why not?
Why not? Yeah, we used to be good friends when we were younger, and he used to actually play drum and bass, believe it or not. But yeah, so got into DJing back then, and just I moved to Wellington when I was about 19. And yeah, started doing more gigs down there, and had a residency, and did a little collaboration with a Canadian MC under the name Filthy Forum, and around sort of the early noughties, 2000, 2001.
The early noughties.
Oh, they were the noughties, I tell you.
Yeah.
Were they not, eh? And yeah, so we toured around the country and did bits and pieces, but I think it was about that point that I realised that playing other people's music all the time wasn't really enough for me. I really wanted to start to make my own and have my own flavour. And so yeah, since then I've just really been sort of working hard in the studio. And I've got to this point now where I'm starting to release music, so that's good.
Awesome, bro. And you find from a lot of producers, the reason they kind of get themselves into producing to begin with is because they get sick of playing other people's tunes and stuff like that. But who was what was the actual direct influence of you wanting to produce your own music? Was it drum and bass, or did you want to move into other genres?
Well, I guess for me it was drum and bass then. Now I'm making hip hop and funk mashups and dubstep and all kinds of stuff, just because I like to expand, and I like to listen to a lot of different music, so I like to make a lot of different music. But predominantly it was drum and bass then, and I think it was artists like early, sort of around that time, Total Science, and the music that they were making was just incredibly sort of forward thinking for that moment in time. And a few other producers. But as Liquid was starting to kind of make a bit of a sort of rearing its head, because drum and bass was very dark back then. Marcus Intellects and kind of came through with the tech step thing, and then we had LTJ Bookham and stuff doing stuff before that. But once that sort of more tech steppy kind of stuff came through with Marcus Intellects and producers after that, I kind of just like, I could really see myself sort of pushing that sound. And so just kind of started working on this kind of sound, and here I am now. So
awesome, bro, awesome. Now obviously we'll move on to your EP now. Tell us more about this release. Like, how long has it been in the pipeline? How long have you been chugging over on this one for?
Well, this tune here that you're listening to now, East and Wind, this was written maybe 10, 11 months ago. It was and also Secret Soul, which is another one which is on there as well. That was done about 8 months ago as well. So but they're two tunes that I've always wanted to release.
Awesome.
Because I think that they really personify a sound that I'm trying to work towards, which is slightly different, a little bit more melodic and to a degree melancholy, rather than sort of deeply uplifting. They have not only a hip hop sort of influence with sort of halftime and breakdowns and that kind of thing, but also I guess the music, you can play it on the dance floor if you want, but you can also listen to it at home. I was just going to say, it reminds me of something that you'd have a few bevies with on a Sunday afternoon in the sunshine. Well, that's the feeling that I was going for with these tunes. Whereas Solitary Confinement and Air on Fire, which is the single for the EP, is a little bit more sort of on the dance floor tip, or deep tip actually. Solitary Confinement's quite deep and a little bit harder.
Awesome, bro, awesome. So, I mean, you've got a couple of pretty mouth-watering collaborations on this EP. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, well, I co-produced Solitary Confinement with a friend of mine, Benson, who's actually a genius. Just, watch this space, This kid is writing music on a little pair of Logitech speakers out in his place in Papakura, and he's coming into our studio and doing all kinds of stuff, and he's writing some incredible music.
Predominantly drum and bass, or?
Oh, no, he's writing drum bass, trip hop, he's writing sort of glitch hop, and what I call post-dilla psychedelic hip-hop, and all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, but besides that, the vocalist that I work with, Willie C, he is... he's an incredible singer. The first day that I had him in the studio, he sung to me. We sat down. He'd written some lyrics just because we met through mutual friends. And he sat down and he started singing to a different tune that isn't on the CP, which we're going to release later in the year. And I was just blown away by his voice, and I was just like, man, I'm putting this EP together. I'd love it if you'd want to sing on some other tunes.
Awesome.
And so yeah, since then we've just kind of been collaborating.
Sick, bro. Sick. Well, I'll let the listener be the judge of that. But so, Dave, what's in store for you? I mean, obviously, producing music and ripping crowds would be the ultimate dream. But what have you kind of got on the cards in the next 12 months, say?
Next 12 months I'm working on another EP and a couple of single releases. Solitary Confinement's being remixed by a few New Zealand artists. So we're going to release that as well with another single. And also next month we'll be doing a tour, Willie and I, of the EP for an EP release. So the first date will be, for those Auckland listeners, is at Fubar, featuring Agent Alvin and Tokyo Pros, and that will probably be, I think, Saturday the 30th of April. We're just locking that down now. And then the following weekend we're looking at doing Queenstown, Wanaka, and maybe Dunedin, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Work it, bro.
And then maybe after that doing Wellington, and another couple of spots around the country.
Sounds like a bit of a party then. But I've got 5 quick fire questions. You mentioned a little bit earlier you don't like the Upper Film quick fire questions, but
it's a bit early for this.
Yeah, I've got my first one. Make it a bit easy for you. Who's been your biggest inspiration in your dance music career so far when it came to DJing, music production, the whole works?
Mate. I would have to say probably influentially. It's going to sound funny, but it's not even drum bass. It's Pretty Lights, actually.
Crazy.
Yes.
And one artist you would dream of working with one day?
You know what? I don't really have any artists that I dream to work with. I just like the idea of kind of mutual ideas and collaboration. So I'm happy to work with anybody that is is keen to work.
Wicked, yeah. Wicked. And who would win in a fight, Jackie Chan or Yoda?
Oh, Yoda.
Yoda?
Without a doubt, yeah.
No hesitation there. And if you were trapped on a desert island, you only had one track you could listen to for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I have no idea, bro. Let's say something from Biggie.
From Biggie?
Probably, yeah.
Why not? And if you had to, your final one, if you had to take Susan Boyle or Helen Clark on a romantic date, who'd it be? Be honest.
Probably Helen Clark.
Helen Clark?
Yes.
Yeah.
Helen's hot, man.
Yeah.
There is.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far, but she's,
there's a hotness about Helen Clark. Eh?
Domineering.
Don't. You can deny it all you want.
All right, Dambo, thanks heaps for joining us this morning.
No worries.
It's been an absolute pleasure. And I'm going to play this brand new track right now. It is Air on Fire, Eavesdrop featuring Willie C. 107.5. You're on the Toast Breakfast Show with Scott. Just caught up with Eavesdrop. That is his brand spanking new track featuring Willie C. It's called Air on Fire. If you're a fan of drum and bass, and I know there are tons of you out there, you can pick that up on all major digital downloads, iTunes, Beatport. Also log on Facebook, Eavesdrop, and Eavesdrop NZ, am I correct? On SoundCloud. Brand new EP released on Empathy. Absolute cracker, definitely coming in. Might be one of my favorite tunes shortly. We will have that game against my Liquid very shortly. We're running a bit behind schedule. I will chuck in a traffic report just very soon.